we going? Going live.
We did it!
We did it? Are we live?
Yes.
High five.
Alright, that was a live high five.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. I'm David Pagano of Paganomation. This is Dave M. Pickett of Brick 101. And this was an exercise in immense frustration with the technology of today. But we're here now on a ramshackle setup that I will take a photo of later so you guys can see how we solved this problem. But we're here to talk about the Lego Batman movie and answer any questions you guys have. This is our first live stream, and given the success of getting this to work, it will probably be our last. I'm just kidding. And that's all I've got. Dave?
Great. Hi, everybody. Thanks for bearing with us. We're here to talk about the Lego Batman movie. Let us know in the chat if you've seen it. Dave, if you want to go, I can't actually post a link in the old versions of the live thing.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to post a link to the new thing, for anyone who's left in the old streams. Anyway, Lego Batman movie came out, what, a week ago?
I think so.
Has it only been a week? It's been a long week.
February 10th.
February 10th. So yeah, just over a week ago. Sequel, spin-off to the Lego movie from 2014. We both have seen it once each time.
Yes, and we should preface this by saying, if you haven't seen the movie yet, we're going to talk about things that happen in the movie. So
Spoilers.
Skip ahead to not watching this video in the time code to avoid spoilers. But to be honest, like, the Lego Batman movie, and I'm supposed to write a review about this for the Set Bump, and I've already written parts of it, but I found it a little bit difficult to write about because, not only is it a sequel to the Lego movie, which was hugely successful, but it's also a sequel to every Batman movie ever.
Yeah.
And in that sense, it's kind of difficult to talk about very generally.
Yeah, I mean, even more so than like a movie from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this is a movie that requires like lots of outside knowledge to like properly enjoy.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like you have to know enough about Batman and like his history as like a angry loner who can't make human connections to like appreciate the story of Batman trying to like build connections with people or being forced to build connections with people,
right.
both emotionally and physically.
Well, and plus, and I was saying this to you before the broadcast when we were throwing computers across the room, it's a movie about the Joker teams up with every supervillain in Gotham City. The Gotham City Police Department and government is concerned about the level of crime in the city, and Batman is sad because his parents are dead. AKA every Batman thing that's ever been made.
Which is a joke that the movie made.
Yes, well that's one of the things I really liked was sort of, when you go to see something like Batman v Superman or Batman, the Chris Nolan films, and you see Martha Wayne's pearls fall to the ground for the umpteenth time, it almost feels, I don't want to say insulting, but it's like, all right, guys, we got this. It's like watching Uncle Ben die again.
I was going to say.
There's a certain amount of superhero movies that they aren't really standalone movies anymore. They're just companion pieces to stories that we all kind of already know. And that like I appreciate that difficulty too in terms of trying to make it something new and interesting. But what's nice about the Lego Batman movie is that they are not only the filmmakers aware of that, but the movie itself is aware of that, and it pokes fun at those conventions, and does some interesting, playful things with it in a way that I don't think the Zack Snyder's films. I haven't actually seen Batman vs Superman, but if Man of Steel was any indication, I don't even know where you guys
I think we're both tired of dark and gritty reboots and waiting for the campy, colorful reboots of everything to like become the new vogue, which is kind of what like the Lego movie cinematic universe is starting to achieve, right? Like, because this Lego Batman was the campiest Batman since like the 1960s.
That's
like,
true.
Most in like embrace like it, it had the moment where they're punching and like blam and all those fun words come up, which is near and dear to my heart. I also loved the multiple times they referenced the 1960s Batman with the bat shark repellent.
Yeah.
The where Batman's holding the bomb and looking for the place to dispose of it.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Some days you can't get rid of the bomb. And as well as the actual like live clip of the movie they showed, which was like again like a tiny bit of live action in an otherwise animated film.
Well, it's interesting too that in looking at this Batman character, the Will Arnett performance, and thinking like which Batman is this? It's all of them. Like this Batman, Lego Batman, is basically every Batman that has ever Batmaned.
Well, I mean that's such a unique thing about like comic universes, right?
Sure.
Like is that within the universe they'll come up with an
sinking? Sorry.
Oh yeah, I think the putty is slowly falling. If you want to adjust our fancy camera setup.
Definitely not my telephone.
Yeah, but like within a comic universe, like the DC Universe comics, every so often they feel the need to reboot all the characters, but have like an in-universe explanation for why all the characters are slightly different, but also the same, but have some of the same backstory. So it's like over the years, there's been infinite crises on infinite Earths, infinite times. And like Batman has started over and over, but this Batman has the history of every Batman ever. From and he said he was what, like 97 years old or 70?
70 something.
70 something. And like that is a unique approach to like dealing with this problem of like universes rebooting, or just like a character accumulating all this baggage over the time, is just to be like, yeah, all of it. Not like, oh no, this is the real Batman now.
Yeah.
And, it kind of flies in the face of like all the kind of like geek media impulses to like have like an authentic, like, this is the real Batman and this is true and this is canonical, to just be like, all of it. Yeah. And like, yeah.
I can't follow that.
Yeah. Done. Live stream over.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So thanks everybody. No. Should we look at some of what the comments are? What are people saying to us? Are they saying, "Hey, you're finally online"? Yep.
Hi.
Cool.
Can you see my comments? Yes, we can.
Yep.
Boderpole Cinema. Booterpole. I don't know. Can I watch? Only 18 watching. Anyway.
I think that's probably
we have 19 watching.
I think that's probably because it took like 3 different links to actually get this thing going.
All right, I'm gonna update my links that I sent out.
We got a question from Raptor Studios. While you answer that or update those links, what is your favorite part of the movie?
Anything with Robin in it?
Yeah. One of the parts that sticks with me is when they're on the plane at the beginning and the Joker lists off the names of all the villains that are going to be released, and the pilot asks, did you make up some of those? Are those real? And Joker's just like, yeah.
Probably worth a Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really great. I mean, it speaks again to the, it like embracing the full history of Batman and having Condiment King and Calendar Man, my favorite.
Yeah.
I think I really liked Robin as a character, just like his insane enthusiasm for everything. It felt like the most Lego-y of it was like Benny the Spaceman.
Exactly. Yeah, he's almost like Benny plus Emmett. Benmit. That's the best I got.
Well, I mean, something we've talked about is how the plots of the Lego movie, the Lego Batman movie, and what we know of the Lego Ninjago movie are basically like, man who needs better social connections.
And has issues with parents.
And has issue with parents, right?
Yeah.
It was like Emmett dealing with his father figure, president of business, Batman dealing with his dead parents, Leloy dealing with his dad Garmadon. It's like,
and also Batman being a parent himself, insofar as he sort of unwittingly adopts Robin from the Gotham orphanage.
Yeah. Well, I also liked how they were just like full on like what's his father's name? Alfred. Alfred like is Batman's dad, right?
Yeah.
Like they just like totally went with that, and like Robin even calls him like Grand Bat Dad or something. And then he had his own bat costume. Is that like from the comics that Alfred had like had a vigilante personality, or is that just for this movie? Because it was epic.
I believe. Now, which one are you talking about? The one that looks like Batman but old manish and has a mustache?
That's the one I was thinking of, but there were two, weren't there?
Yeah, I think that one is from the 1960s series, because there is an episode where Bruce Wayne, I think, has to be at a press conference or something, but he also needs Batman to be there, so he has Alfred dress in Batman's costume, and not to disparage this, I'm sure very lovely actor from the 1960s series who plays Alfred, but he didn't have, let's say, the physique of a Batman, so he just sort of looks like an old man Batman cosplayer, I guess, and it's a little bit bizarre, but that's what that made me think of, especially since it looks like the parts that they used for the design are the same as the ones from the 1960s Lego Batman kit that came out, the actual product.
So we have another question from Stormforge, which is something we've talked about.
I'm going to keep propping us back up.
Propping the camera back up. So Stormforge says, what's your opinion on the style of recreating stop-motion animation in the computer? Also, do you think this will change the stop-motion industry? Really interesting question.
There's two things there.
So
right?
the first half, we've talked about this a lot, that, this started with the Lego movie. It's all done in CGI, aside from a small percentage we can articulate later. Is that the word? Yeah. And, but they are really good about respecting the actual limits of a minifigure when they create the rigs for the CG characters, so that their arms move like this, and they might pop an arm out of the socket, but it still doesn't bend at the elbow, right?
Asterisk. I did notice in this film, more so than the Lego movie, that there was a lot more cheating going on. There's a lot of this, and there's a lot of this, but very subtle, and it's. I want to get upset about it, but I can't because it's such a fun movie.
Yeah.
But I did notice it, I guess.
Right. Well, and I think we both kind of feel this way that, it makes sense, right? If they were to try and create either of these movies in actual stop motion, it would have taken, 10 times as long. And
sure, yeah. I mean, think about how long something like Coraline or those films take. It's just years and years.
I think Coraline was in production for a decade or something.
Yeah, and even the first Lego movie was in production for it was 5 years between when we heard about it and when it actually came out.
Yeah.
And now it's been 3 years since that. So, I can only imagine how much longer it would take if they did it with stop motion photography, and plus just the sort of difficulties of dealing with all of the licenses and. Sort of third-party stuff. I can't imagine trying to wrangle all that legal nonsense while also using the very locked-in method of stop motion. You're not going to be, if you're going to be digitally erasing, we couldn't get the rights to that character, we got to take him out, which means we got to reshoot everything with that character, every scene that character appeared in. That's
right. It would still take a lot of time to switch it out in CG, but it would be much more possible because you're not redoing everything.
Yes.
I think we both kind of understand why CG makes sense, and appreciate that they're still trying to respect the limits, even if they're cheating. The Lego movie, everything was Lego, even water, right? And they only had a couple water scenes, and here they've moved so that water and fire water was
smoke.
Water and smoke. Fire was Lego in this one, though it won't be in Ninjago, right? Because in Ninjago, we've already seen that plants will be there that are non-Lego, as well as water, fire, and smoke. But here it was only water and smoke.
Yeah.
Heart.
So I have things to say about that, but let's take some more questions first.
Oh, we didn't finish the second half of the question.
Yes, what was the second half?
Will this change the stop motion industry?
Will it change the stop? Is that for either of us to say?
Yes.
Okay.
Period.
Then, I don't know. What is the stop motion industry currently? It's
Leica,
Aardman, and miscellaneous. Oh, I guess Stupid Buddy Studios.
Yeah.
Which actually did a bunch of the little promo. There was Lego Batman showing up in. CW programs, and I think actually our friends Brick Nerd and Spastic Chihuahua did some of the animation on those. Did you see those?
Oh, the CW
Lego Batman hanging out with the Big Bang Theory folks and that kind of a thing.
Yeah, I think if anything, this would change the traditional animation, 3D animation industry more than it's going to influence the stop motion. Because I think what it's shown is like you don't need to have something that looks like a DreamWorks animation to have a successful.
Everything doesn't need to be very fluid and like perfect.
Yeah, I love the jerkiness of the motions in the Lego Movie. I mean, it just like the fact that they're even trying something stylistically different, I think is only going to influence things for the better. Other questions? Have you seen Clutch Powers?
No, I think he's asking, have I seen Clutch Powers?
Well, he said it both ways.
Okay.
Have you seen Clutch Powers? That was Booterpole.
Yes. Yes, I have seen Clutch Powers. Never have I felt more like my time was being wasted watching something Lego-y.
I haven't seen it. I own the DVD just because like I felt I needed to, but I still haven't
I have it here.
taken the half hour or whatever to watch it.
I own it because the Space Police 3 shorts that we did on Lego.com are like an extra feature on that DVD. So buy for those. Check those out. Or you can just get them for free on Lego's YouTube channel. No, Clutch Powers is... It always makes me think of actually that joke from the first Lego movie where they're interviewing the construction workers about Emmett, and the one guy is like, when you tell me about this guy over here, I'm like, ah! And then when you tell me about the other guy, I'm like,
and that's how you feel.
And the second guy is Clutch Powers.
Yeah, that's a very apt way to describe it. Not that I've seen it.
Yeah. So you've never seen Clutch Powers?
I've never seen Clutch Powers.
It's fine.
Yeah, I'll see it at some point just because.
It feels like... How do I put this delicately? It feels like if no one directed the Lego Movie. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel like it has... there's no, like, voice to it. There's no vision. It feels like it was sort of, like... focus grouped and like marketing it, but it didn't have any of like the humor and the heart of something like the Lego Movie.
Though you've pointed out that like even the marketing aspect was wrong because they used sets that were like no longer on store shelves by the time the movie came out. Like opposed to like the Lego Movie and the Lego Batman movie, like the sets and the movie have been like, you know,
I guess
tightly integrated.
Marketing in the sense of like it feels like marketing voice. Like everything is awesome. Like that is a catchy song, but it is a satire because it's the underlying tones of it are like this is a we all live under this like vaguely like big brothery dictatorship. You know, President Business is doesn't his billboard say like I've got my eye on you or something like that?
Yeah.
Whereas like Clutch Powers feels more like if Everything is Awesome was like if you didn't realize that's satire, if it's just like taken seriously,
it's just like
everything is great, there is nothing we don't like, let's go adventure,
or an actual episode of Where Are My Pants. It's just like
but it's like it doesn't have like that like eye wink or that like self-awareness that like again that what the Batman movie has.
So something I've been thinking about is like what makes the Lego Batman movie a Lego movie, because I think as a Batman movie it's like one of the best Batman movies I've ever seen. In terms of like it actually has like a thorough investigation of like Batman as a character, like more so than you know, like the Dark Knight trilogy. I felt like
absolutely.
I mean,
I like the
they're fine.
They're good.
Like the third one kind of has tainted my memory of them.
I think it helps, of course. I think it helps that it acknowledges all of those things about those other movies, like we were saying earlier. Like it sort of takes into account all those other Batmans happened, and like all of that is kind of like informing this Batman,
right?
As opposed to something like The Dark Knight, where like in The Dark Knight, like the Michael Keaton Batman doesn't exist in that universe. You know what I mean?
You made me think of two things I wanted to talk about. So one is like, so what makes the Lego Batman movie a Lego movie, right? So, and one of the things I've been thinking about is like both the Lego movie and the Lego Batman movie are incredibly self-aware and like, they have like metafictional awareness. Like they're aware of their own existence as fictional characters in a certain way. Like the fact that all the guns go pew pew pew.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about it, not to sidetrack you totally, but in the Lego movie, the first one, do any of the heroes shoot guns? I don't think they do.
Probably
Wild
not.
Style just does like parkour,
Flips.
karate.
Right.
Emmett just runs and falls.
Batman doesn't even have like he has batarangs
Yeah.
and the.
But I think it's only like the robot soldiers that Lord Business controls that really do the shooting. So I feel like in this one they're like, oh, we need to have good guys do shooting. We need to make that like safer.
Right.
So it was interesting. The pew pew things did stick out to me. But sorry, continue your thought.
Oh,
Drink this water.
yeah. So as they're starting to add more Lego movies to the Lego Cinematic Universe, which is technically a thing. There was an article with Chris McKay about their thoughts of how that universe relates to all the movies relate to each other.
Yeah.
That part of that universe is that it's fake, right?
Sure.
That like there is a real reality outside of the movies, but that real reality is also within this overall. So like there's a multi-dimensionality to the cinematic universe. It's more of a cinematic multiverse, which really relates well to like Lego Dimensions. I feel like it's really hard to think about the Lego Batman movie without Lego Dimensions as well, and like the ongoing project of Lego and Warner Brothers to like mash stuff together. That was like one thing that like kind of rang a little flat for me in the Lego Batman movie was like Voldemort, Sauron, the Wicked Witch of the West. Like I wanted to be much more excited about their presence in the movie, but I was just like, oh, these are all characters that Warner Brothers can license because they're all in Lego Dimensions. Like there was
Matrix agents too.
Matrix agents, the Daleks, but they didn't say they were Daleks, which was interesting. And I'm curious about
I feel like that was like
the
a
contract.
Like, no, you can't say Dalek.
You can't say Dalek. We'll just call them British robots.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was a joke or like a legal contract issue.
Because you can put these here, but you can't say Doctor Who.
That like this movie, it felt more manufactured in that sense, but. So I'm interested how like Ninjago is going to fit into that, which is like a Lego specific IP, but how much they're going to pull from these other franchises. But yeah, the franchise integration in this one felt less fun than in the Lego movie, where it felt more freewheeling. Like you go to the Master Builders and they're just like Ninja Turtles, NBA, and it was also just like these are all Lego properties, and they were also able to use Star Wars then because that was before Disney had bought Star Wars.
Well, I think there was a little bit of contention there too, whereas like that was like a 11th hour edition, where it's like, oh, we got the clearance to put Han Solo in here. But you're right, it did feel a little bit like less fun in that mashup-y kind of way. It just felt like, oh, all the Batman characters are here. I keep saying Batman, weird. What other questions do we got?
Somebody can't find our book. It's on Amazon.
Or you can go to setbump.com/book.
That's a good place for it.
Yeah.
Somebody was asking something that I forgot. That was a really... Oh, Metalbeard has cannons, somebody pointed out, yeah. Barbara Gordon. I do want to... That was one thing that it was the part I laughed the most at was when Barbara Gordon is introduced as the new... Oh yeah, there she is. Police commissioner, and they're talking about how she cleaned up Bloodhaven with compassion and statistics, which is like actually like what like good police work is based on, and just like the amount that it just focused on like like this is like actually the way to like deal with long-term crime problems as opposed to like a bunch of vigilantes.
Yeah.
I just super appreciate it, and I'm a little disappointed, like from a gender perspective, in the fact that like she was the only real significant female character.
Yeah.
And we could talk about that for like an hour.
We can.
And that also they seem to be consistently putting the main female character in kind of the buzzkill role. Like Wildstyle also was kind of like I'm down to earth and kick ass, but like I can't have fun. But Barbara Gordon like
it was the same kind of like action girlfriend trope.
Yeah.
Like I did appreciate that like Chief O'Hara was a woman and
that's true. That was good.
The mayor Mariah Carey? Did I get that right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, because
I looked that up afterwards.
Sure, why not? Mariah Carey, deeply invested in the DC Cinematic Universe. But no, I did feel the same kind of way as you, where it's like, oh, it's cool that they did a little bit better with that, but it's also kind of the same movie where, those characters fit very specific roles and they don't really go outside of them. Like it did, in a lot of ways, it felt like the Lego movie again, which I guess is what you want from a sequel in certain ways, but in terms of like all the character roles, it felt very like the Joker was basically the president business to Batman as the lead. Who would fill?
Robin was Benny.
Yeah.
Who would be Vitruvius?
Alfred, kind of.
Alfred, yeah. Oh, and he almost died too. And that was it. So that was another thing I was thinking about is like this movie never had a Ghost Vitruvius moment, which was like my favorite part of the Lego movie.
You didn't let me finish because I died.
And there was nothing that like took it to that like otherworldly level of just hilarity, but like self-awareness.
Yeah.
So somebody asked us to rank this movie out of 10. I'm gonna say 7.
I was gonna say 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to go wrong with these movies. I think. That being said, I don't think this one will be as iconic as the first Lego movie in terms of like standing out. But that being said, like it's not a harmful movie. It's fun. Like it's well written. It's got good jokes. It's got something for everybody. I think if you're a Lego fan, I think there's things to like. If you're a Batman fan, there's things to like. You could do a lot worse, which I guess is not super high praise, but
you could do a lot worse.
That being said, I really did enjoy the movie.
That's what they're gonna put on the like ads on
TV.
Quote,
yeah.
Paganomation.
You could do a lot worse, says some guy who couldn't get a live stream to work.
Somebody asked, what is your favorite villain? And somebody was saying the Eraser. Eraser, I think, of the collectible figures is the one.
Which actually, we should open some of these because I have some collectible figures here of the Lego Batman movie.
And so we're technically at the scheduled end of the live stream, but since we started 30 minutes late, I feel like
keep going.
We're going to go for another 30 minutes. So FYI, somebody already said they had to get going, but this video will be on
Yes,
your
you'll be
YouTube
able
channel.
to watch this. You'll be able to watch as we slowly sink into the earth. I'm going to keep fixing that, but no, we'll be here until 1:30 Eastern because we've got nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Oh, and how about that? Look at this. I just opened this up. You can see there's nothing up my sleeves. And I got
the Eraser.
The Eraser.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love the design of that character, and it's so good for so many things. The head is a really interesting piece in and of itself.
I feel like it's going to show up in mocks just as the top of a pencil now.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's literally begging for that. And I also love the joke of the to-do list or like to erase list.
Yeah.
And it's just empty because it's all been erased.
So you did. Yeah.
It's it's really.
See, had my original setup worked, I would put this here and you guys could see it, but now you can't see it. But just trust me, it's still there.
It's still there. Right. There's not an abyss like there is.
Yeah.
So
okay, that's perfect segue.
Abyss,
Let's talk. So this movie, as we already said, the world in terms of atmospheric effects is a little bit different. There's actual water. There's actual like smoke, and that made me think. Like I had the compulsion to wonder throughout watching the movie, like, oh, when are we gonna get like the Will Ferrell equivalent scene in this movie? And it never came, and that was weird to me. What did you think about that?
Yeah. So when they talk about the abyss under Gotham City, I haven't been able to like watch that closely enough to see, is it the same abyss that like Emmett falls into in the Lego movie? Right?
I don't think it is. It's like a tabletop, right? It's kind of situated like
well,
this.
but they show like a colorful swirling abyss that's under the table.
They do show a clip of Emmett from the Lego movie, and it's believe it or not, a shot of Emmett falling.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah. It's on like a screen at one point, I think, for like a split second.
So like it is the same like abyss that Emmett falls into that goes to the real world, but nobody ever goes through that, right?
Yeah.
And in fact, this time like the extra dimension they go to is the Phantom Zone, which is like above Gotham City.
Yeah.
Which is it's like the Lego characters can move to other Lego worlds by going up into sky portals, I guess.
Yeah, it did feel a little bit more like Lego Dimensions in that way.
So yeah, I think it's interesting to think about like the Lego Cinematic Universe because it's also like a comedy cinematic universe, right? Like, what is there another like comedic cinematic universe? I mean, like the Marvel has like funnier movies like Ant-Man, but like the Lego Movie and Batman they're adventure movies, but they're also like mostly comedy movies.
Yeah.
And that idea of like how do you build a universe based on jokes, but then also have these larger kind of mythological kind of aspects of like the outer world, the Lego world. And like how do you explore that in an interesting way? They didn't explore it in an interesting way in Batman. Like
No.
a lot of the stuff about it being Lego felt just they had to put it in there to justify having Lego in the title. Like the fact that the characters all jump on each other's heads to like form the ladder at the end, which I liked, but it was also like it was always jarring when they did the Lego aspects in this movie, like when Batman randomly builds stuff, because nobody else takes advantage of it. It's like, why are we afraid of being destroyed if we all know we're fake, right?
Yeah, there was no like there was that self-awareness, but there was no like threat to it, I guess. Like, of course Batman's gonna stop the Joker, like,
right.
But like what was nice in the Lego movie was that there was like this unseen force that was hinted at, and then you got the reveal of the human world. And in this, it was like there's an unseen force that's hinted at. Movie's over.
Right.
See you guys next time in September.
Yeah, because Lord Business becomes more like dangerous when it's revealed to be the dad, right? Like the dad gluing the Lego is a lot scarier than Lord Business gluing people together. The threat's the same, but like it added a level to this. Whereas like going to the Phantom Zone, it just switched out the cast of villains that the Joker was working with.
Right.
It didn't actually like up the threat level in like an emotional or meaningful way. I felt like.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. What else did we want to talk about?
I don't know.
We talked about it compared to the Lego movie. Do we want to talk about the making of book a little bit?
We can. Yeah, there's this neat making of book that I definitely recommend. I wish there was one for the first Lego movie because all the behind the scenes for the first Lego movie are just like that kind of like goofy, like, it's a real person. We had to cast him and man, he was difficult to work with. Ha 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 ha. And that gets really old really fast.
Yeah, I appreciate that this one is like an actual behind the scenes. So the first 20 pages are what I was hoping the whole book would be, which is like I don't know how well you can see any of this, not very well. But like actually like, oh, here's how the animators built the rigs and like lots of behind the scenes photos, but they're all really tiny and like the layout of this section is like weird. And then the rest of the book is basically just like, it's really great like concept art for all the locations, characters, and vehicles, but it's much more like, how did we design the Lego vehicles in this movie? How did we design the Lego characters, rather than like, how did we make the movie, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't talk about like the narrative being developed. It only talks about like the visual elements, the characters, the locations in the movie, and it's great. I mean, it's still an amazing book, but I was disappointed that it wasn't more of like the process that they went through with the movie.
Sure,
that felt very like kind of tacked on at the beginning.
Well, it's like the difference between like this is definitely, it's more of like an art book than it is like a making of book. Like if you think about those really thick hardcover books for the original Star Wars trilogy, which have like
characters,
a ridiculous
locations.
amount of behind the scenes sort of insight and tidbits, whereas something like The Art of the Force Awakens, which is another book that I own, that's just like neat concept art and sort of how the various designs developed over the course of making the film, but not specifically about making the film as a whole. And for those of you who missed it, this is called The Lego Batman Movie, the making of the movie. We don't get any kickbacks for promoting it, but it is a neat book.
Yeah, it's definitely worth picking up if you're interested in behind the scenes stuff about movies and Lego animation, which you probably are if you're watching this live stream.
We also have this book here because we were talking about it earlier, and this is an older I think this is pre-Lego movie, this Batman Visual Dictionary from DK, and this is an official Lego release.
We have a question. Cube25 says, what Bat vehicle from the Batcave do you want as a set? I mean, so many of them are turning into sets that were prominently featured. You know, the Scuttler, the Ultimate Bat.
The Scuttler is definitely my favorite. That I think is just like a neat design, and the way that it was kind of like rigged, I think was really fun. And I was surprised to see it in the first wave of Lego Batman movie sets. I'm actually surprised by how many Lego Batman sets from the movie that there are, because when the Lego movie came out, it was a little bit more, I think there was more sort of trepidation where they were like, we're making this Lego movie thing, I don't know if it's going to work, so we'll put out some sets, and if they do well, then we'll continue. Whereas this feels like, surefire hit, here's all the sets, go, buy them.
Yeah, because the second wave of Lego Batman sets is pretty small. I think there's only 3 or 4 that are coming out this August. Like, there's the Scarecrow with the actual hat and hairpiece, which I'm excited about. Bane's truck, Two-Face, the Batwing, and then the Ultimate Batmobile 5. I think, and there was already like 12 in the first wave.
Yeah,
and I feel
ridiculous,
like the Lego movie had closer to 3 waves, it felt like, because there was like maybe 6 that came out with the movie, Cloud Cuckoo Land, I'm not going to list them all.
Yeah.
And then there was like a second wave that had like Metalbeard and...
Benny's Spaceship was the second wave, and I think Emmett's Construction Mech was the third wave.
Right, and that also is when they did like the double-decker couch on its own and things like that.
More of a variety of Unikitties, that kind of a thing.
So one thing we were speculating on earlier when we were talking about this is that possibly they like condensed the timeline for the Lego Batman movie sets, because the Lego Ninjago movie sets are going to come out starting August 1st, I believe. So like they have like 2 movies in the same year, so they need to...
Which is very bizarre to me. Like I don't like, is that, are you shooting yourself in the foot by releasing 2 movies in the same year? And from what we can see, again, they're both about like a Lego character's parental issues and a team kind of coming together to stop things that are threatening for some reason.
Yeah. So speaking jargon, who is an awesome brick filmer and person on Bricks in Motion, just pointed out that Matthew Ashton, who's at Lego and is highly involved with the Batman movie, said that the book was put together last minute, and that's most likely why it was not quite as comprehensive as we would have liked. Which, that makes sense. Like, it felt a little last minute in some ways, but I'm glad they did it, as opposed to the Lego movie where they definitely like just missed that opportunity to make something like this.
I feel like there's a... How do I put this nicely? I feel like there's a consistent problem with the Lego movie franchise, which is, I feel like the filmmakers, in terms of the movies themselves, for lack of a better phrase, get it, whereas in terms of like, we understand that Lego is like an evergreen product, kids love it, adults love it, so let's make something that has something for everyone. Whereas I feel like the behind the scenes of it and like the marketing of it seems more Lego company, again, marketing kind of like, oh, Lego's for kids, it's a kid's toy, so let's do things that kids are only going to be interested in. Emmett's a real person, let's interview him because he was a real actor on the set. Like, it feels very like dumbed down and kind of condescending. So like the fact that like, I feel like someone was like, oh, we should have an art book, and they're like, that's a great idea. The movie comes out in like 5 weeks. Like I could see that kind of thing happening, just because I feel like a lot of times the Lego group has issues with being aware of like that want or that desire in terms of the fan base. No, it's a constant issue as like, a person over the age of 12 who's interested in Lego, that Lego doesn't really see us as like a valuable market. I mean, they do, right? Like, obviously the higher end sets are not really made for kids, they're like 14 plus and whatever, but we're never going to be their focus, right? That's just not true. But we don't even feel like the secondary focus. Right. Or like, because, right, like, okay, we would have been super interested in the behind the scenes, but it's very interesting. So like, one of the things that Lego has uncovered in their studies of play is talking about how kids like to like build a skill and get really good at it. So this was like the skateboarding insight. I don't know if you've heard this from like the Lego business articles. I read them. It doesn't surprise me that skateboarding is involved in Lego Business Insight. So it was about this kid they interviewed who like was really proud of these shoes he had that were all worn and beat up because he had been using them as he like learned skateboard tricks. And so they like understood like, oh, like kids don't just want something new and like kind of
shiny necessarily. They want to show that they're like building a skill, and that's
Sure.
like a really important part
Or like progressing
of play
and gaining
and
experience.
development.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that they still don't seem to quite get that around the filmmaking or the behind the scenes aspect of their own product. Like,
Sure.
I mean, it's great that they do those Lego creator videos where like the designers
Right.
will talk about the process, but you still very rarely get like design like drawings of what it was. I mean, they tried it with like the what was that expert building guide series,
Right.
where you would get the like book about it and the sets. I don't know. It's just like, and it's a hard thing to sell, right? To like, how do you do the creative process?
Sure. Well, I think one of the interesting things about the fact that this movie is, it's got a director, right? Chris McKay from Robot Chicken is a director, and he, going back to, I wanted to talk about Two-Face a little bit because I love that it's, even though he's only there for a split second, I love that it's Billy D. Williams for the exact same reason that Chris McKay did, which is he was Harvey Dent in the Tim Burton Batman and in Batman Returns, and then the third Batman movie, all of a sudden, it's Tommy Lee Jones. And it's like, wait, wasn't this the long game? Weren't you setting this up? Where was I going with this? But I feel like, I feel like Chris McKay, like, he had a vision for what he wanted this movie to be. And, that sort of love of Batman, the franchise, like, informed that vision. And it was like, okay, like, I get that someone who was really passionate and cared about what they were creating created this movie. Obviously, he's not a monolith, and he had, like, a huge team of people working with him. But that love of the property and that like sort of commitment to making something neat and sharing it with the world comes through. Whereas with the Lego sets, it does feel a little more monolithic, where it's like, apart from like things that maybe we know because of the AFOL community or things like those designer videos, you don't always really know who's responsible for a set because it's not. There's no design ownership over sets. It's like a Lego set. As I knock over Dick Grayson, I'm looking at the modular buildings up on a shelf here in the studio, and like we know those are Jamie Berard by and large, but person X buying it at Toys R Us doesn't know that, and there's no real effort to make that clear. I don't think, and I understand why, but at the same time, it does I think a disservice to the product and to people who are interested in the process to sort of like keep that stuff hidden. Yeah,
I mean, it's nice in the making of the Lego Batman movie book is that when they'll show like the concept art, like all the people get credited, like who did the art, because they are like legally required to do that.
It's literally the least you could do for someone doing art for you.
But yeah, like there's never a moment where we like see the design team like in action or like talk about the stories of the people making the movie. I think. Again, this is like pie in the sky. What would I love to see in the sequel to this book they do for Ninjago or for Lego Movie 2?
Sure.
Would be like
you look at the guys. Put out one of these for the Lego Movie. You have time. Like it's not. It's the urgency of it has passed. You could still do this, and it could be fun. I would love to have it on my bookshelf and to read it.
Speaking of, you were talking about Two-Face,
yes.
So I'm going to use that to transition to a pretty much unrelated question.
Okay.
Which is, what minifig from the Lego Batman movie would you actually want to see as an actual figure that isn't already? And that's from Buddhapole Cinema again.
I feel like they did a good job in terms of making all the figures, like first wave. Like we were just talking earlier about how... so we have this here. It's the Lego Batman collectible minifigures, and I think this is the first wave that has 20 figures.
Yeah.
I mean, to be clear, 5 of those are just Batman costume variants alone, and that's fine because you can't have Batman toys without a million, tech shield Batman and underwater Batman and all that kind of stuff.
I really like the orphans with the Bat merch on them. Like, I don't think we've seen anybody that has like that I love Batman shirt. So that could be a fun thing.
I feel like I might have seen one of those on Brickset. Like it might be in a future kit, but I'm not 100% sure.
That's something I would think of. The Wonder Twins. I want the Wonder Twin, like from the Justice League party.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that we have they made that cyborg figure for Lego Dimensions, and that's a cool one. Oh yeah, we've got all the characters here in this book.
Right. I was gonna where was the Wonder Twins thing?
I don't know.
Well, I also love in this the like rejected Batman costumes that they have. Like one where he's like Merlin, a wizard, also a mermaid Batman, or merman. Batman.
I like the basketball.
Merbat. That's what it's called. So some of those would be fun too. And somebody also asked, what Lego franchise do you want as a movie? That's from Cube25.
I was thinking about this the other day. I think it would be neat. Like, there's some of it in the Lego movie where, like, Octon is a big, like, sort of, like, they used that sort of piece of nostalgia and it was fun. Like, I would almost like to see a theme that is all of the retro themes kind of, like, klooshed together. And I don't know if that would ever happen or if the Lego movie was that.
Well, I mean, like, they did that for, like Benny the Spaceman was, like, he was, like, the 80s spaceman, right? And so they could do that with, like, you know, Castle or Pirates, theoretically, right? As opposed to, like, you know, Metalbeard was, like, a modern pirate and not specifically, like, a reference to an old pirate.
Were there any Castle figures?
They briefly go to Castle Land, but it wasn't, like...
Oh, it was, like, Middle Zealand, right?
Middle Zealand.
I mean, I guess, like, Vitruvius is sort of Castle-y. Like, he's a wizard, question mark?
Yeah.
If Vitruvius was a actual Lego minifigure, I don't know what theme he would be from.
Okay, so I know the answer to this question for both of us, so I'm going to answer for you.
Okay.
So the answer is a Lego movie that visits Mtron for you and Aquazone for me.
Yeah, there you go.
Because then we would get sets that are like giant versions of things that should have existed in that theme and never did, similar to how they got Benny's spaceship,
right.
which like harkens back to classic space. So then you could get like the Mtron thing of your dreams, but with new building techniques, and I could get that for Aquazone.
Magnets, how do they work? Yeah.
So that's the answer. Silly Penta, who's a animator, I've seen their name before, but I don't remember much else about you. Sorry, Silly Penta. Says, it's a shame that designers are forced to hide their initial in car registrations or something. So that's referring to, like, especially in the collectible line, where they'll have, like, something on a tile that's, like, kind of somebody related.
Or, like, I think the Lumberjack has, like, a name on it. That's like the name.
I mean,
I get why.
Yeah, and then that Lego also never credits brick filmers who make films for their YouTube channel.
You don't say.
And that there's a hunt to discover who made it. Do you want to talk about that all, or is it too raw?
No, I mean, I could talk about it. Like, so, very broadly, when we make stuff for the Lego group here at Paganomation, they own it when we finish. So we don't have really any control. They can credit us or not. It's up to them. As a person who also hires other people to do things for me, in the same way that Lego hires me to do things for them, I think it's hilariously simple to credit people because they put in the time and like the work would not be what it is, especially with filmmaking. Like, if you think about the credit sequences at the end of any modern film, Lego Batman included, there is a laundry list of people who were in every single department you can imagine. And so it's, like, I think what it is the Lego group is used to not crediting designers. And so I think that kind of carries over to their, like, external filmmaking people, because Lego is not a filmmaking company, it's a toy company.
Right.
And so that makes sense to me. But what frustrates me and boggles my mind is when they'll post videos that, something like, for example, I posted about this on the Set Bump, the hashtag Share Kindness campaign that Brotherhood Workshop did a video for.
Yeah.
Like, part of the promotion of that video was like, check out this thing from the great designers and filmmakers at Lego. And it's like, if promoting this in that way is so important, why not just put their names? Because people want to know. People want to know who made these things, because then you talk about the process. What did you think about when you were making it? How long did it take? What pieces did you use? How many frames per second was it? All the great questions of the ages.
Well, and to your point about, like, the credit sequence at the end, like, even in, like, when they do have, like, here's people who worked on this, they don't even necessarily, like, put who animated it. Like, what was it? The fastest, funniest Lego Star Wars story ever told, which was animated by Garrett Barati.
Correct.
And he just got additional support as.
It was like a card. It was a card that said, like, special thanks to these fine folks, and then it just said, like, Garrett B. Amongst, like, a list of, like, executives and, like, Star Wars people.
Right. And how hard would it have been to be, like, animation by, like, in a list of, like, 20 other names that they had.
I think the conceit there was that they wanted people to think oh, like, a kid made this, even though it's, like, hilariously too complicated for that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress.
All right, we've got about 7 minutes less. Silly Penta says, I wish they would just let you put a credit slide at the end of the films. They used to do that for Spite Your Face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It would be nice.
What other questions we got?
Ice Planet 2002. That would also be a fun franchise to visit. They should just visit all the franchises from our youth. That's that's what we want. That's something that I'm really looking forward to, like a decade from now, when like other people our age who didn't like stick with the Lego hobby just rediscover it, because like that hasn't, like, people our age haven't really like gotten into Lego yet, or like gotten back into Lego. Like they haven't ended the dark age.
We're a little bit in a weird place temporally.
Yeah.
Because did you have a Dark Ages?
I had a dim age.
Okay. Yeah. There's turn down the brightness a little bit. Because like I never had a Dark Ages. A Dark Ages, is that how you'd say that? Just because Legos for kids, 5 to 12, that kind of a thing, and then brick filming is really for like teenagers. So I went from being a kid to being a teenager brick filming, and then now I became the fine person you see before you.
Yeah, and I mean, brick filming is what kept me in the Lego hobby at all.
Same.
My teen to like early adult ages.
Yeah.
Because when I was in college, I only used Lego as a filmmaking tool, and then only started buying for just like buying purposes again after I was out of college and had disposable income.
Right.
But like I'm really excited for when the rest of our generation like rediscovers Lego, and then like Lego starts making sets that will be nostalgic for us, because like Benny is kind of for like people that are a little bit older than us, like the Benny spaceship.
Sure.
I mean, like we touched classic space a little bit.
One of the first kits I ever had was a classic space kit, and that's not even. I guess that is still technically the end of classic space, because the blue originally was just red and white. The first space figure sets, but yeah, one of my first kits was one with like a Benny equivalent.
Right. Because then we'll get the M-Tron revival and Aquazone revisiting.
Yeah.
But like we have to wait for everybody else to catch up.
Sure.
Unfortunately.
And that's fine. It doesn't seem like they're going to stop making these Lego movies anytime soon, given the large amount of money that they're making.
A couple questions. Oh, well, Slotborg says, Davids, I love your book. Thank you. We should show the book. We didn't show that at all this stream. We wrote a book called the Lego Animation Book. Shows you how to make your own Lego animations.
Yeah,
it's available on Amazon. It's also available in German, and possibly more languages coming soon.
That's true.
I don't think we're allowed to say that yet.
We are multilingual regardless. Again, setbump.com/book. This we get paid to say. No, we pay ourselves to say this.
Right. And then Buderpol Cinema was asking, that reminds me, about how long is the Magic Picnic? So we actually finished animating the Magic Picnic this last week, and it is going to be just under 4 minutes, I think.
That's true.
We have to do post-production.
Yep.
But it'll be out by March 3rd.
Yep.
We can confidently say at this point.
All of that is true.
Yep. So thank you again, everybody, for your patience on the Magic Picnic, in addition to your patience today with the live stream.
Yeah. I would love to do another live stream like this, just so you guys are aware. We're going to need to iron out some nuts and bolts over here, because I don't know what the heck happened. But yeah, it would be nice to reliably be able to live stream to YouTube. Sorry, I just opened up another collectible
Lobster
figure
loving
here.
Batman.
Yeah, I don't have this one yet. So
that's.
Is this a new lobster piece? It seems
I don't think
it.
there's ever been a lobster piece before.
I'm thinking of the crab.
You're thinking
and the crab. So there's like that Zodiac.
Zodiac character, yeah.
And I don't know if this is new, but the crab has like, you can grab like a bar on the back of it. So you can like hold the crab. It's interesting.
Interesting. Great live stream. Thanks. All right, we're technically here for 3 more minutes, so last chance for questions, and let me check our list of topics if there was anything else.
Only 17 people. Yeah, I'm going to assume we lost a lot of people in the 3 different live stream links that we had to get through.
Well, they can watch it on demand.
That's true. That's true. This will be
moving forward,
recorded for the ages.
I think we covered pretty much everything. So, Lego Batman and other topics. It was only like what? I want to say 50% about Lego Batman.
I think that's about right. That's about what we wanted to do. Yeah,
that's good.
Because there's always other things to talk about. Does this guy have 2 faces?
We could talk about Toy Fair briefly.
Oh yeah, so Dave. The reason Dave is here at the illustrious Paganomation headquarters here in New York is because New York Toy Fair is this weekend, And is there anything that you've seen at Toy Fair that you want to like tease or
Yeah, so
things that struck you?
Yeah, I was at the Lego booth at Toy Fair yesterday. Yesterday morning. I had like an hour in the booth, and like I barely got to see everything because I was trying to like photograph and like video, and there's just like it's their entire product line, so there's like 300 some sets.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to see the next wave of Lego Batman sets. I got to see the Lego Ninjago sets, but I am like honor bound.
Movie?
Yeah, for the movie,
okay.
the Lego Ninjago movie. But I can't tell you any details about them except that they exist and that there is a certain number of them. I don't know if I'm even allowed to tell you that there were.
That's fair.
Like a dozen or so.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out in what 5 months or something ridiculous.
The sets I think are coming out August 1st. That was like the other detail I was allowed to say. So they'll probably like announce them officially
so like 5 or
in
6
a
months.
couple months.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird.
Lego Minecraft sets that I'm excited for. I know you don't care about those, but
I'm ambivalent.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's some neat products. I like the designs of the figures.
The
good color palette.
Series 17 collectible figures, which has Corncob Man, Rocket Ship Boy.
The guy we were all asking for.
Right. It also had this like really cool like fitness trainer.
Oh yeah, with like a giant like
the giant hair.
Not a pompadour, but like
it's almost like Bette Midler hair. I want to say.
I was thinking, or
like in The Witches, or what's that movie? Bewitched.
No, Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah, it is kind of like that. You're right.
So yeah.
LS Games 101 says, I just wanted to mention that you're one of the reasons I started filming. I remember those Lego Max videos for Lego Club way while back. I'm assuming he means way back when.
Yeah.
Or she. Thanks. Yeah, we did a lot of Max videos. I can't believe how long it's been since.
Max Batman.
Yeah. One of the Max videos we did had this guy who was designed by my friend Matt. And he's pretty cool. You can find that on the Paganomation YouTube channel. I think it's Adventures of Max DC Superheroes, because there already was a Max Batman that I think Garrett did.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in and being patient as always. And yeah, this video will be up if you want to watch it later. And we'll do another live stream in June, if not sooner.
Oh, that's true. Because
you'll be in Chicago for Brick World Chicago. It'll be one of the only times you can get both of us to sign the Lego Animation book at the same time.
That's true. We'll be doing
physically in the same place, as well as lots of other cool stuff. Right. This is
Yeah.
They can't get here.
It's also an elaborate optical effect that is combining us together right now.
That's why we haven't crossed the center of the frame.
Exactly. That's why I keep leaving this way. Cool. Anything else to say?
No, I think we just need to figure out how to stop the live stream now.
That's true. Well, I'm just gonna go and grab my phone and
press the button.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Thanks everybody. For watching, and stay tuned for more things. I'm excited to have things on the Paganomation YouTube channel that are not just a video every 5 months or so. So hope to have more stuff like this coming in the future. And thanks for watching.
Yeah. I'm just gonna dance while you turn off the thing.